In this movie, a dangerous group of criminals were secretly transported from the Philippines to South Korea on a cargo ship. However, things quickly went wrong when the criminals broke free and started killing the police. As it became chaotic, an even deadlier threat emerged from the ship's hidden prisoner, Alpha, leading to a bloodbath on the ship. At the beginning of the movie, the story took place in 2016, where 47 criminals were caught in the Philippines. They were being extradited to Korea with heavy security. However, while they were being transported to the airport, a family member of the victims set off a bomb in the middle of the criminals as an act of revenge. As a result, not only the criminals, but also the family member of the victim and 7 policemen were killed in the explosion. Then the scene shifted to 2022. A similar group of criminals were being extradited, but this time the Korean government was more cautious. They didn't want to see the repeat of the 2016 incident, so they decided to secretly transport 20 criminals to Busan from the Philippines by cargo ship, keeping everything hidden. These criminals were extremely dangerous, especially Park Jong-do, who was the most dangerous of them all. He mocked a policeman named Seok-woo, but Seok-woo beat him up badly. Then we saw that Dae-woong was the one in charge of the entire operation, giving instructions to all the policemen on the cargo ship. The criminals were locked up in the ship's cells, with 2 prisoners in each cell. Policemen stood guard outside their rooms. Seok-woo also explained the rules to the officers, reminding them that the rules must be followed at all costs. Among the prisoners was a calm man named Do-il, who acted as if he didn't care about anything. There were also female prisoners, who were being watched over by female police officers. On board, there was a doctor and his assistant. The doctor secretly took some medicine and hid it in his pocket. There were also cooks on the ship, preparing food for the prisoners. During this time, the doctor went to the engine room, where we learned there was another prisoner on the ship. The doctor's job was to inject this prisoner every 6 hours to keep him asleep, so he wouldn't harm anyone. This prisoner was known as Alpha. None of the other policemen knew about Alpha, because it was part of a separate secret mission assigned by Dae-woong. He was quietly reviewing Alpha's documents. Later, all the prisoners were served food. Somehow, Jong-do managed to free himself from his handcuffs and pass the tool he used to his cellmate, helping him escape as well. Meanwhile, the cooks were busy preparing food in the kitchen, but it was revealed that these people were actually working for Jong-do. They had killed the real cooks and taken their place. Their plan was to free Jong-do. The policemen who tried to stop them were killed because these men had weapons. They also went to the control room, killing the ship's crew and destroying the communication equipment so no messages could be sent. By this time, Jong-do had already freed himself. He called a policeman inside and killed him brutally. After that, he freed all the other prisoners on the ship and killed all the policemen there. Soon, the news reached headquarters that the ship had stopped, and they suspected something had gone wrong. A girl named Da-yeon realized there was no network on her phone, so she stepped out to check. At the same time, the doctor and policemen also went out to investigate the network issue, only to find that the prisoners had been freed and had blocked all communications. They rushed to the control room and discovered that Jong-do's men had already taken over, and the crew members were dead. A fight broke out between Jong-do's men and the policemen. Seok-woo and Da-yeon lost many of their fellow officers, but they managed to kill all of Jong-do's men in the control room. Da-yeon approached a crew member and asked how they could make a call. The crew member informed her that emergency calls could only be made from the engine room. Now, all the crew members were free, and Do-il was among them. He asked them not to kill the policemen, but Jong-do seemed to enjoy the chaos. He told Do-il, "Either you come with me or stay behind. I'm going to kill all the policemen." The doctor ran to his assistant and locked the room from the inside because he heard the sound of gunfire. Jong-do was placing the bodies of all the people he had killed into the refrigerator. From the refrigerator, the blood of the dead flowed through a pipe, and a drop of blood fell from the pipe onto Alpha, waking him from his deep sleep. Seok-woo and Da-yeon reached the area where they had kept the prisoners, but they found that all the prisoners had escaped. With the prisoners freed, they thought of heading toward the engine room, but Jong-do had already reached it and destroyed the phone that could have been used for emergency calls. Seok-woo, Da-yeon, and the other policemen arrived at the engine room and aimed their guns at the prisoners, but the prisoners fired back. A long fight ensued between the police and the prisoners, but then Alpha appeared. Though Alpha's eyes were stitched shut, he could still detect people by sensing their body heat. Alpha was extremely strong and moved incredibly fast. Everyone, prisoners and policemen alike, was terrified of him and tried to escape, but Alpha didn't let anyone leave. He even killed Zhangdu. Now Seok Woo, Do-il, Dayan, and another prisoner ran away, but Alpha didn't let them go easily. He followed them to kill them. Alpha attacked Seok Woo, but Do-il fought him off. They all managed to escape and shut a pressure door to stop Alpha from coming after them. Meanwhile, Daewon was at the headquarters, trying to figure out what was happening on the ship. He looked at the satellite images and realized there was bloodshed on board. Then Daewon received a call from someone who told him to stop the bloodshed. This person had the same number on his body as Alpha had. It was revealed that Alpha was supposed to be brought to this person secretly, and Daewon had been assigned to carry out this mission. On the ship, 2 crew members attempted to escape using a lifeboat, but Alpha appeared and killed both of them. Meanwhile, the doctor and his assistant remained inside their locked room. They heard noises coming from outside, and the assistant looked through the mirror. Suddenly, Alpha's hand broke through the glass and killed the doctor's assistant. The doctor quickly ran away and eventually reached Seok Woo and Da-yeon. The police began questioning the doctor about the injection he had given Alpha that made him come back to life. The doctor explained that he was brought on board solely to administer that injection, and that he had no further details about it. Seok Woo instructed everyone to leave so he could search for other survivors alone. The remaining survivors soon found a prisoner named Myung-ju who was still alive. They were unaware of the chaos outside, but then Alpha attacked them unexpectedly. The group managed to escape Alpha and kept running. They used an elevator to save their lives, but Alpha climbed on top of the lift and broke it, starting to kill a prisoner. Seok Woo heard the commotion and rushed over to save Myung. However, the elevator's cable weakened, causing it to fall. They hoped Alpha was killed in the process, but he remained alive. Seok Woo locked Myung in the refrigerator to protect her and went to confront Alpha. A fierce battle ensued between Seok Woo and Alpha. Seok Woo realized he could not defeat Alpha, and ultimately, Alpha killed him. Myung, witnessing this, pretended to be dead in the fridge. When Alpha arrived, he assumed everyone was dead and left without saying a word. In another scene, Do-il, the doctor, and Da-yeon arrived at the location where Alpha had been kept. They discovered Alpha's documents and learned that he had been a soldier in 1943. He had been sent to the Philippines for a mission, but was captured by the Japanese. They forced him into a project where chemicals were used on him to create superhuman soldiers. Although the Japanese succeeded in altering him, Alpha rebelled and attacked them. Daewon was on his way to the ship in a helicopter, accompanied by many soldiers. The soldiers were injecting themselves with substances to gain the power to fight Alpha. Upon arriving at the ship, they encountered Myung, who informed them that Alpha had killed everyone. However, Daewon killed Myung because he was only interested in finding Alpha. More policemen appeared, but Daewon killed them all. Do-il was present during this chaos. When Daewon was about to kill him, he noticed that Do-il bore the same mark as Alpha. Do-il had purposely become a prisoner to reach South Korea and take revenge on Daewon, who had previously captured him and others for experiments. Unfortunately, the experiments had failed for everyone else, but Do-il had survived and returned home. He eventually got married and had a child. When Daewon discovered information about Do-il's family, he went to Do-il's house to kill him. He found that everyone had been murdered, except for the son. Do-il was away at that moment, which is why he was on the cargo ship. Now, Do-il sought revenge for his wife's death at the hands of Daewon, leading to a fight between them. Suddenly, Alpha appeared and attacked everyone, killing all the soldiers present. Daewon then confronted Alpha, revealing that he was also a powerful fighter, and killed Alpha in a single blow. Afterward, Daewon faced Do-il, and after an intense struggle, both of them fell into the water. At the end of the movie, the audience sees the same person who had been on the phone with Daewon. It was revealed that the Japanese had experimented on him too, turning him into a super soldier. He was now preparing to create more super soldiers. He encountered a small boy with blue eyes, which turned out to be Do-il's son. When Daewon killed Do-il's wife, he left the boy behind, and the boy was indeed the same child. The movie concluded with Do-il on the seashore, moving forward to take revenge on his enemies.